I am Fafnir, king of Nithavalir. You should kneel. I will conquer all worlds. That is how it is, and shall be.
Today we got a fun reward unit. For the first time ever, Heroes, as a Fire Emblem title, is getting a Grand Hero Battle unit. It's also the first time we're getting a free-to-play Armored Dragon because this year's Grand Hero Battle unit is Fafner. That was a lie. Even though we've got a Fafner with that signature Fallen All-Purple aura, we're getting the slightly more in-control but still manipulated version from the earlier parts of Book 5. Little disappointing, and Grand Hero Battle Fafner is quite the random pick. As mentioned, Heroes has never had a Grand Hero Battle unit, and Book 5 was, well, 3+ years ago. Why are they releasing Fafner now? I have no idea. At least for Elm, it's speculated they brought his normal version back because he's going to be involved in the Tempest side plot for Book 6 later this year. Interesting pick aside, let's talk about Fafner as a unit. This version is a Lance Cavalier with 40 HP, 48 attack, 47 speed, 37 defense, and 18 resistance. Fafner has an attack super boon and is actually an incredibly offensive unit. Super high attack and speed, especially for a Lance Cavalier. This will come at the cost of resistance, which is practically a Lance Cav trademark. Fafner can dish out some damage, but keep him away from the mages or dragons. He's not a cool armored dragon, but at least Fafner gets a unique weapon. Iron Wraithmar is a 16 might lance. For foes within 3 rows or columns, inflict -5 attack, speed, defense, guard, and those foes take a free follow-up attack from Fafner's team. For himself, Fafner gets +3 attack and will get Canto distance +2. This has a max Canto of 5 spaces, but will only be active for the first 4 turns. For combat, if above 25% health, Fafner gets bonus stats equal to the number of foes within 3 rows or columns times 3. If there are 3 enemies in that range, he gets +9 to all stats max. Additionally, Fafner gets true damage equal to 15% attack. He will get instant cooldown before his first attack equal to the number of spaces moved by the initiator. If you move 3 spaces, Fafner can get -3 cooldown max. It's not the fanciest weapon, but Fafner gets some cool traits. The devs have been obsessed with giving everyone Crux debuffs, and Fafner basically has attack, speed, and defense Crux that also inflicts guard. Fun fact, all the Fafner alts include guard in their weapons. Like the other Nithavalir calves, Fafner gets a powerful Canto ability. If he moves 3 spaces, he's going to get Canto 5 to move again after. Unfortunately, this only happens for 4 turns. Fafner will be a cool hit and run unit, but you gotta act fast. Now, to empower his assault, Fafner gets true damage scaling off his high attack stats. He also gets a momentum-esque effect with instant cooldown based on how far he moves. This should work on enemy phase as well, but Fafner isn't the sturdiest unit ever. He gets some bonus defense and res, but no flat DR or % DR. Regarding the free follow-up attack, this will allow Fafner to cancel out one of the enemy's follow-up denial effects. Would have preferred the actual no follow-up skill because Fafner has excellent speed. You should try get the full no follow-up effect because Fafner can double the slower foes guaranteed, and he won't get doubled by them either. The rest of Fafner's kit is alright. Dragon Fang is fine, but Fafner only gets -3 cooldown, so he's gonna have to double to trigger it. Rouse attack and speed gives self buffs if solo. Not bad, but staying solo all the time is a hassle. As for low speed and defense 3, -3 debuffs with speed and defense buff neutralization. This is the first time it's on a non-5-star only unit, but sadly lows have kinda just fallen to the side since there are way more interesting B skills. It's good for a budget build, but the tier 4 lows are kinda eh. I think they could get another tier 4 variant later, but who knows how long that will take. Regardless, this kit is at least synergistic. Buff up with rouse attack and speed, gain speed and defense advantages, and trigger Dragon Fang if Fafner can double. If you want to merge Fafner, the neutral nature gives +1 HP, speed, and defense. This means if you take the attack super boon, Fafner will get the full +4 attack bonus. He's gonna need some support, but Fafner has a good starting point if you're looking to deal some damage. Despite there being a fair bit of free-to-play Lance Cavaliers out there, Fafner will easily stand out among the crowd. This is mainly due to all the recent additions being on the slower side. When it comes to heroic rail units, Patrine is one of the better speedier options. Spring Luthier is another more recent unit, but he has a lot more defensive stats, especially in resistance. If you spend the Dragon Flowers, Near's Leg Yarn is decently fast with high defense. Finn isn't too bad, and Orson just got his refine. He can build some speed, but obviously not a super speedy cav. He will have a lot more general bulk to work with though. All in all, Fafner just has so much more attack and speed at base. No one really comes close, and his defense is at least okay. The dude is gonna die to any magic, but he's at least specializing in offense. For the demote 3 to 4 star units, Kyle was the most recent free-to-play addition. He has great attack and defense, but building speed and also terrible res. Rashea is one of the not as old units with okay attack, speed, and defense. If you spend Dragon Flowers, Ferdinand von Eyre is the fastest of the demotes. Again, this class simply has not released a speedy free-to-play option in a long while. Worth a mention, but for blue physical damage cavaliers, you could use New Year's Yarn. He is probably the most similar to Fafner in terms of stats. Beast units have a good bit of skills that Lance Cavaliers can't use, and vice versa. If you're going to stick with Lance Cavaliers, Fafner is simply the best high attack and speed option. Thanks to his unique weapon, you can also make some decent builds. Generally speaking, Fafner wants to initiate, instantly charge a special, and just nuke the enemy. After that, he can counter retreat very far away. Be sure to fight within the first 4 turns. You can keep most of Fafner's base kit. If you want an instant special, you can swap to Draconic Aura for the potential -3 cooldown. Remember, you have to move 3 spaces to get the full 3 cooldown, so this isn't a guarantee depending on the situation. Fafner at least has a good chance to follow up, so he could hopefully trigger special if he doesn't have enough cooldown. Do note, Luna or Bonfire could be better options. It depends on how much stats you can get or how much defense the enemy has. For the 8 slot, Fafner can get attack and speed solo from Summermail Shez or attack and speed catch from Celestia/Zephyr. You could also use the classic Swift Sparrow. It's not an attack booster, but there was an Ephemeral Comet manual from Young Elliewood. He has speed and defense clash 4. Fafner definitely wants attack and speed clash 3 for his Sacred Seal, but it's pretty tough to still get that in the 8 slot without limited time units. For beast skills, low is fine. There aren't a lot of other great options here. Fafner could run Desperation, but his weapon has a 25% HP condition. That could get a little risky. If you want to pull out the old school strats, he can use Winter Water Sweep. Fafner will use his free follow-up to cancel out the penalty from those skills. That way, Fafner can double without getting hit back. Really would prefer offense in a follow-up if you're going to do this, but that's not really an option for a budget cav build. If you wanted to utilize Fafner's Crux debuffs more for your team, you could run some buffing skills. The wave buffs are able to buff the user and adjacent allies. It's not the best, but you can at least find a combo in the C slot and Sacred Seal slots. Other good Sacred Seals can be the cooldown ones. If you did want to trigger Dragon Fang instantly, Fafner could use the basic Quicken Pulse. Sometimes a simple special nuke is all you need. If you want, Fafner can also use Heavy Blade. If you trigger Heavy Blade and the -3 instant cooldown, then Fafner would charge Gale Force in 1 hit. He's gonna lose that special damage, but with his incredible Canto ability, Gale Force could be just a pure fun skill. For premium skills, Fafner is mostly gonna be a player phase initiator. You can try to avoid contact or bulk up to tank a hit. For the non-contact route, Fafner can use Desperation 4 to go for the double tap. Flow Desperation would be better, but that's still only on T-Time Myra. To help burst down enemies, Fafner can charge the DR Piercing no quarter if he moves 3 spaces. If the enemy has Scout or Fafner only moved 2 spaces, you could use the Desperation hit to hopefully proc the special. Sadly, there is no guard skills for cows besides defense wave 4. Fafner could run that, but no guarantees he has the higher defense than like a physical tank. Instead, you could slot in Heavy Blade 2. For A skills, attack and speed clash 4 would be fine. The debuff neutralization would be good for pure damage potential. You could use Flared Sparrow as well for the instant damage and flame tiles. For the C slot, attack and speed Insight Hone is just super tough to beat. Self and team buffing, that is easy to use. You could also use Outspeed Wave 4, that would get Fafner no follow-up. If you don't want to depend on Desperation or Sweep skills, Fafner can go with the popular setup for this year. Haze Slice grants 40% unpierceable damage reduction for all hits, but only on initiations. Combo that with the flat damage reduction from Attack and Speed Excel. To make up for the loss of DR Piercing, you can run Assault Force for 50% piercing on every hit. It also neutralizes stat debuffs and grants true damage. Something to keep in mind, Fafner wants no follow-up to prevent slower enemies from doubling him. Outspeed Wave 4 would be good, or you could use Flow Guard 4. That would give no follow-up and Scowl. That is a good defensive combo to not eat a special counterattack, but it definitely doesn't have as much damage potential. Speaking of damage, Fafner could use Potent 4, that gives some regular % DR and then the chance to Potent follow-up. With stuff like Fell Spirit giving out the 20% DR effect, I feel like Potent effects might get a lot more common this year. Of course, Fafner would be an excellent Emblem Erica ring holder. Brave attacks plus high base attack is what you want. Just to talk about Blue Skies, since we mentioned Erica, Fafner could run that. It would give him some true damage and flat DR, plus technically the Canto effect would be useful after turn 4. Maybe not the best user of the skill, but it's there. Just to mention, if you do try to get Assault Forced, Erica can pass along Attack and Speed Insight Home. I would pick that over Blue Skies. If you instead get Harmonic Marissa for Assault Force, she has Oddspeed Wave 4 and Excel. 2 limited time units here, but at least you get 2 tier 4 skills that Fafner would love in a build. If you prefer extra utility, Fafner could go for Shadow Shift in the C slot. Thanks to his crazy Canto distance +2, you will have a lot more options to use that Shadow reposition. You could also of course do Shadow Smite instead. For other skills, Low Spin and Defense 4 is fine, but with low Echo, that's kind of the better spot for that ability. If you can survive, Defense and Smoke for Pathfinder would be good. Fafner could then run Momentum. -5 instant cooldown is technically good still since Scowl exists. Too bad Iron Wraithmore doesn't give cooldown to AoE specials. That could have been a fun little nod to the actual Nidavellir, who is an AoE special spamming unit. Now, if you can find some cooldown from your team, you could run Fafner with Momentum to pre-charge AoEs. He has the base attack to make them work, and Iron Wraithmore would recharge the AoE in combat. To be honest, not the worst idea. I don't know if I'd go as far as calling it a budget Emblem Sigurd, but that is one way you could use Fafner. So, should you 5-star Fallen Fafnir? In terms of offensive stats, he is ahead of the free-to-play Lance Cavalry group by a mile. 488 attack, 47 speed is insanely high even compared to 5-star units. It would come at the cost of resistance though. For his unique weapon, Fafnir would get true damage, instant cooldown, and a good Canto effect. He also provides Crux debuff support, which you could try to add to things with like Inside Home. Survivability will be a general concern for this unit, but Fafnir has a couple options to get by. Don't expect him to tank everything though. As for his Canto effect, it only works for 4 turns. You really gotta get moving, otherwise you could end up in a situation where Fafnir can't escape to safety. At least his Comet isn't affected by the turn count. In conclusion, if you want a speedy Lance Cavalier, then Fafnir is the clear winner. He's extremely high attack, can lead to some easy instant special nuking, and you can retreat super far away. While No Quarter and Haze Slice would be great picks, there is definitely room to experiment with things like Gale Force or Momentum and AoEs. If you need more firepower, obviously Emblem Erica's Brave Attack Ring would be amazing here. Fallen Fafnir is certainly an odd choice to release at this moment, but at least the devs gave him a fun weapon and good stats. If you ever want to replace his weapon, then we can definitely work with 48 attack and 47 speed. Good luck beating Fafnir's Grand Hero Battle map. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video.